Sri Lanka still need 430 to win. England were bowled out for 251 today. They added 226 to the 9 wickets that fell. And of course, yes, the headline. Joe Root making his 34th Test century. He's also the highest scoring batsman here at Lord's. He made 105, if my writing's not let me down, before being caught in the deep. He was the last man out, actually. And he really held that innings together again. Interestingly, he was on 88 when the 8th wicket fell. So he must have felt a little bit anxious, I suspect then. Well, maybe not. We'll find out when we interview him again very shortly. But Alistair Cook's here and Michael Vaughan as well. How's your reception going round there? It's a nice warm hand. It must be quite a strange feeling for you, really. You know, you always know that when these records are made to be broken, and you knew who was going to break it. You didn't know the actual day, although actually I think you had a bit of an inkling today that it could well happen. How are you doing?
The attention that I suppose I've received, and it's not anything to do with me today. It should all be about Joe Root, and it feels like it's been a bit about me, but it shouldn't be. It should all be about Joe Root. And yes, I thought today, if he survived his first 10 balls, and I looked at the wicket, and I thought occasionally yesterday we saw a few balls keep a bit low, and I thought he might get one of those, but there was no balls which kept low, and I thought he put 10 balls in. I just thought the inevitability about his class would mean that he would get 100.
Well, he's coming out. He'll hate the sight of seeing me again twice in 2 days, I'm afraid. Joe, 2 days seems a long time ago.
Told me to get me.
Well, there you go. 2 days ago, 33. Here you are, 34th. Well done.
Cheers, thank you. Yeah, it was good fun. It was. I mean, obviously, it's a nice situation when you're that far ahead of the game to come out there, but you know, you just want to drive it forward as quickly as you can and put yourself in as strong a position as possible. And with these conditions as well, trying to make the most of it and utilise that today while they're here. If the sooner we could get there, the better. And just trying to be proactive and smart in the conditions that we had.
Any worries? Well, I think you were 88 when the 8th wicket went down. A little bit. Are you anxious or not?
No, not with the guys that we had. It was just trying to get the balance right with moving the game forward and not letting it stand still, and trying to maximise the time that we had. So felt like when I stopped taking the singles off the short stuff, it was more about if I can get a couple of boundaries away and over, make them make a different play, whether it be bring fielders up. Didn't quite work out like that, but it was more just didn't want the game to stand still. That was the only thing that was sort of on my mind. Was as a team we always talk about moving the game forward, driving the game, and when we're in the position that we are so far ahead of it, you don't want to stall that. So just sort of getting the balance of that, really.
Yeah. You said a couple of days ago that you're playing well, but you didn't feel in that sort of nirvana place where you just kind of batting. Were you there today?
No, not really, but it doesn't mean that's the ideal scenario, but it doesn't mean you can't score runs if everything doesn't feel perfect. And I think that's something that over time and experience is something that I've managed to learn and I suppose add to your game. Is you don't always need to feel $1 million the day before the game or in preparation or even out there. There's other ways that you can be effective, and being able to rotate the strike, being able to get back down the other end for a bit until something clicks into place, or you get a few boundaries away and you feel a bit of fluency, then it does get easier. So I think that's just come over time, and something I've started to manage a lot better over the last 4 or 5 years.
Explain to a batting dunce what batting nirvana actually is. I mean, are you literally just standing there and just playing and not really having...
There, it's as if you're like hovering outside of your body and it's just doing it on autopilot. And I think it only really happens 4 or 5 times in your career. But that's what you're always searching for. And when you go out and you practice and you do all the work and drills, that's what you're trying to get yourself in that place where you can just be on autopilot. And if it doesn't work out, you just got to... I guess that's a way of trying to keep improving and getting better. And that's sort of a driver for me. Is every day can I get closer to that state where you feel like it's just happening automatically.
How much does this record mean to you?
Like I say, I've got a lot of cricket still to play yet. It'd be nice bragging rights to have a beer with Cookie now and have a few chats about it.
He took it very well, by the way. He's very magnanimous again.
I'm sure he was. But still a lot of work to do. So
yeah. And you've got records of falling. I mean, you're the highest run scorer at Lord's now. Did you know that?
Well, it's all plastered up on the TV earlier, so we saw it all. But yeah, they're all nice things to.
Yeah. Highest run scorer coming up. Well, I don't want to bring Cookie into this. I feel it's sad, but you're not far away from becoming England's highest run scorer.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's a long way past that. I mean, like I say, I want to play for a lot longer. I feel like I'm a long way to go yet. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
What do you put your conversion, your improved, if that's the right way of putting it, conversion rate down to from 50s to 100s?
Experience. Yeah. I think just managing the game better, playing the situations better. Using the guys that I'm batting with in partnership better, and I think it's just one of those things that I got in a bit of a rut. I made a thing of something that wasn't really a thing, and let it affect the way that I handled those situations. And now I just feel like the more and more you play, the more experience you get, the easier it is once you've done it before, and to recall upon those past times.
I'm not sure many England cricketers have had a hug from their dad going up into the pavilion.
Yeah, that was nice. It's always nice, yeah. So he's obviously very proud, but always nice to share moments like that with family.
Brilliant. Well played, Joe. Thanks for talking to us. Really appreciate it. I think you might get more than a beer out of Cookie, I think.
No chance.
Well played, Joe.
Nice bottle of red.
There we go. You can't buy a bit more than a beer, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, although I said it this morning, that I thought he was going to do it, I've been totally unprepared. I think when I only got past 10,000, I managed to get him a bottle of champagne signed. I wrote a message on a bottle of champagne, so I'll have to do something. I think I might have to combine it next week when he does everything.
What about a few sheep or something?
It sounded really promising from an England point of view. The way he kept talking about more to come. Yeah, and he's talking very much about the future, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing for him, we all know sport can move quickly, but the Ashes away in 2 years' time, not quite 15 months. I think that will be a big one. Then he's got to probably look at and say, will I make the next one in England? I think that would be the kind of but today's not the worry about the future. I think he's always going to give you that answer today. Even if he's not thinking it, I'm sure he is, but he's just going to give a bland media piece, the answer about saying, it's all about driving forward, getting better. But actually today's not about getting better. Today's about looking back and breaking a record. It's a pretty good record to hold.
And what's really nice for someone on the trail, and probably seeing him a lot, in quite bad times towards the end of his captaincy, I mean, he was really, a pretty bad state when he gave it up. To see him smiling and being Joe Root and cheerful and chipper and jokey is really nice.
Absolutely. And that real love of the game seems to be back. I mean, just how he scored those runs like he did in that situation. Both Michael and I have been the captain towards the end of your reign, and the end is nigh, and it's not a great place to be.
They've lost some time here. They'll make half an hour of it up tomorrow, but England doesn't feel like it's going to roll them over. Well, that's how it feels.
Yeah, you get that sense. I mean, Sri Lanka they've not played great. England are this juggernaut here. When they start getting on top, they knew exactly how to play it today. And Joe Root, he just said it himself. They're very good at pushing the game on when they're on top. And you would expect tomorrow for them to make it very, very difficult for Sri Lanka. I just want to see a bit of fight. Yes. I want to see. We saw that at Old Trafford actually in the first innings when they were 6 for 3. Or 3 for 6, whatever it may be, in that first 20-odd minutes. They fought, and in the second innings they did exactly the same. I didn't see enough of that in the first innings. I've not seen a great deal of it this evening. It wasn't easy tonight. When they started to bat, the clouds were in, the lights were on, ball was doing a bit. But I just want to see, them really fight tomorrow. Just try and get 300. They're not going to win the game. I can't see how they're going to get anywhere near this total. But I just want to see a bit of fight from Sri Lanka.
From England, let's talk about the light a minute, because it's always controversial and people always get fed up at bad light. With the existing rules and regulations, it felt to me at least that England were right to say, we don't want to get this ball soft and too warm. We're going to come back tomorrow. If we can't bowl our fast bowlers, that's it. I mean, would you have been the same? Absolutely.
They did the right. Ollie Pope got absolutely right. Quick go at it, experiment, stayed on a bit, got the seamers on for those 2 overs. Ollie Stone got the wicket. I think if they'd have gone off then, they would never have got back on. It was just a bit of a shambles. I don't like criticising too much about things, but I was on air on the TV for half an hour, and whatever that meter had, it took forever. Whatever they were doing, it looked wrong. It gives a wrong image, and People always say when you're in the game, when you go out the game, you have a different view. I actually still don't have. I've always had this view towards the end of my career. Actually, this is now. I still think this is perfectly acceptable to face a red ball under the lights. It's just a mental change needed. I'm sure there will be a legal issue about something.
Insurances and everything else.
Exactly, and I don't know about that. So, but I just think I'm looking at this here. Yes, is it ideal? No, it's not ideal. But cricket. Like sometimes you bat in tough conditions, sometimes you bat in, and it goes and it swings in roundabouts and it's not fair. But that's with good light, bad light, whatever. So I think cricket, in my opinion, if they can do it and just say we're just going to play, and then it'll be a little bit of the players for 6 months, and then it will be that's just the norm.
Test match cricket is the one format that seems to find a way of getting off the pitch, and we've all got our own ideas, but it really is down to the administrators in Test match cricket to find a solution. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you turn to a pink ball in these situations, so Old Trafford, England changed the ball started to swing around. There's no one bats an eyelid. You got lucky with the ball change. So can't we just change to a pink ball? All right, might do a little bit, but it did a bit last week when you changed to a red ball. So I just want to see, when people have paid a lot of money to come and watch the game and the lights are on, I just want to see cricket, particularly Test match cricket, be played. And I just think Test cricket consistently just lets the public down, the paying public who have come here today at Lord's, and also those that are watching on television and listening on the radio. It's down to Test cricket, the administrators, to find a solution. We've been going on about this for years and years and years, and we're in 2024 and still we're frustrated. Surely it's now time to go. Just change the ball, go to a pink ball and carry on playing.
Yeah, well, that's one thought. Could you have a ruling that if it gets like this, you can't bowl bouncers? I mean, you can still bowl fast bowlers, but with safety and all that sort of stuff. I mean, is that, I don't know, throwing it out there?
I don't like that rule. I had heard it before, and I kind of like, no, you cannot do that because it's a red ball game. But actually, the point of that you change the ball so often with the red ball, yes. And because these balls for whatever reason don't stay in shape. So yeah, it's something has to be done, and there's enough people around to be able to think about it to actually make a decision and do it.
Yeah. Ollie Pope, I mentioned him, 17 today, had an opportunity. Funny old shot. Well, then they went that short attack, and he tried to outplay it, really, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about the shot, actually. I mean, it's a short ball theory, he goes for his first ball, but because of the situation in the game, I was just a little bit more concerned about his balance on that front foot. When he first went out there, I look at it, he's a bit frantic, but I think he's frantic because of his technical side. It's not quite at its finest. I think he's not trusting his movements when he first goes out there. I don't see his bat lift as good as it has been in the past. He's losing balance on that front foot, and I think that's how he's looking front. Then he starts dashing down to get his pads out the line of off stump. He's clearly, since he's had the captaincy, not been playing great. I'm not too sure whether it's all about the captaincy. But he certainly isn't playing in a balanced state out in the middle. I've said it this way. I don't like him as captain. I just don't see that personality. I think sometimes you look at in football, you have great assistant managers who necessarily don't become great managers. And I think cricket, we don't speak about how, I had Marcus Trescothick as an amazing vice captain, but I never thought that Marcus wanted to be the captain. But boy, he's the best vice captain that you could possibly have. And I think cricket's like that you have people within teams that are absolutely outstanding as vice captains. There's great people in the dressing room who necessarily don't need to go up to be the captain, or in football, the manager. And that's pretty much what captaincy in cricket is. You are the manager of the team. So I've said that. I hope I'm not affecting his bat, and I don't think anybody who's criticising will be. It's just that balance on that front foot when he first goes out there with the ball nipping back. He's got a lot of work to do on the technical side of his batting to become a little bit more confident and a little bit more secure when he goes out to the middle.
You can also try too hard, can't you?
Yeah, you can. Look, he's had success. He scored a lot of runs at number 3, but against real quality, and let's be honest, the Sri Lankan seamers are pretty good. And they've had him on a little bit of toast in the first 2 Test matches, where they've just felt that they can challenge that off stump, bring the ball back into the pads. And I think at the minute, Sri Lanka feel that they can bowl to the England captain. Look, he goes to the Oval next week, a ground that he's scored all those runs. I'm pretty sure he's going to get 2 Test match wins on the trot, which is great for him as a captain. But, as a number 3, you've got to find that inner kind of confidence and that inner calmness, and that generally comes first and foremost by your technical side being really good.